I want to talk for a moment from the subject, tricks are for kids. Tricks are for kids. Just touch somebody, tell them, don't play with me. Don't play. You sit by some haters in this room, find some celebrators real quick, and just tell them, don't play with me. I want to talk about tricks are for kids. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, saints and sinners, when I was a little boy, there was a cereal commercial on TV about a cereal company called Trix. T-R-I-X. Y'all don't watch TV. Okay. In the commercial, there was a rabbit who always wanted a box of tricks, and the kids in the commercial, Tasha, they would play with him, they would tease him, they let him get close to the cereal, but right before he got his hands on what he wanted, they'd snatch it and say, "Silly rabbit, tricks are for kids." Now you understand, and while that commercial, Martina was talking about tricks, T-R-I-X, I think the church as a whole needs to be reminded that tricks are for kids. Y'all ain't gonna talk. And I'm not talking about no T-R-I-X. No, I'm talking about tricks. I'm talking about T-R-I-C-K-S. Y'all ain't gonna preach, but I'm gonna preach. Listen, tricks are for kids. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, you too old to be saying one thing and really meaning another. Tricks are for kids. You too old to be smiling in folk faces and know you don't like them, for which tricks are for. Y'all ain't talking to me. You too old to act one way in church and act another way. Tricks are for. Y'all ain't gonna talk to you. You too old to still be church hopping over here 3 months and over there 3. Get your behind somewhere and sit down, because y'all ain't gonna talk now. I'm telling you, tricks are for kids. And even when it comes to the ministry, even when it comes to leadership in the church, I think this ain't gonna be no shout message. Y'all gonna get mad, but I don't even care today. I tell you, tricks are, even in leadership in every church, I think I ought to remind you, tricks are for kids. Now, ladies and gentlemen, here's what I mean, Scotty. When you look at the text that I chose today, the text speaks to us out of a reference from the Old Testament. And it is in the classified version of the Bible that we call the Kings. Now you understand, the Bible is emphatically clear that God speaks, whenever he speaks of leadership, Sabrina, he speaks of 3 types of leadership in particular. And when God speaks about leadership, he talks about a priest, he talks about a king, and he talks about a prophet. I feel like I'm gonna preach one day. You understand, the priest, the king, and the prophet. Now you understand that the priest stands at the apex of the cross. The priest is the one, honey, that connects God with man and connects man with God. You know it is, Sheila, for in the Old Testament, the priest was the only one who could talk to God. The people couldn't pray for themselves. If they prayed for themselves, God would kill them right where they stood. And so they had a man that they go and tell their problems to, and that man would tell their problems to God. Now, I'm so glad, beloved, I ain't got to tell the preacher my problems, but I can go to God for myself. Come on. I'm so glad I ain't got to get you to pray for me, because you might not feel like praying today. And if my deliverance is based on how you feel, I'm going to be jacked up. But I'm glad I can go on my knees for myself and call the God of my salvation. And you understand, that was the priest. But not only was there a priest, but then secondly, the Bible talks about a king. And you understand, Robert, my man, that the king had the authority to decree a thing. And whenever a king made a decree, he took his ring, put it in some ink, and he stamped it and put a seal on it. And whatever the king put a seal on means that cannot be changed. Whenever the king would hear from God, the king would make what he heard from God the law of the land, so that the law of the land would be just like the law of God. And can I tell you, the reason our world is in so bad a condition now is because the law of the land ain't the law of the Lord. Y'all ain't gonna preach with me. I said, anytime you get away from the law of God and our land land is way away from the law of God. We just got the laws of the land. You can look for bombings and wars and rumors. Y'all ain't gonna say that. Anytime they make it right for two men to get married and don't nobody say nothing about it no more, that ain't the law of God. Y'all ain't saying. Anytime we can murder and kill and don't even go to jail, y'all ain't saying. Anytime police can kill black folks and don't even make up, y'all ain't gonna say that. Oh my God, help me you. I said that ain't the law of the Lord. And anytime the law of the land don't look like the law of the Lord, you got destruction. There is the king, there is the priest, but here's the one I want to get to, Tosh. Then there is the prophet. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a bad piece, because you understand now that the prophet is the mouthpiece of God. A prophet was never to say, I think. No. The prophet was never to say, I feel like. No. Prophet don't talk until God talks. And when he does talk, all he says is, thus saith the Lord. Yeah, it wasn't something he was feeling. It wasn't an optional. The prophet didn't prophesy on his off day. Y'all ain't sure that. And see, the church makes excuses for the prophetic gift now. Oh God, you go to a meeting and the prophet get up and prophesy to you, and you know some of that junk is way off, and you try to make excuses for him. 2 out of 3 was right. He was on it the first 2, but the last 2, no, ladies and gentlemen. Now I don't need you prophesying to me on your off day. Don't you say nothing to me till you get back home. Y'all ain't gonna say that, because listen, I adjust my life based on what you said God said. If God didn't really say it and it's just you talking, you gonna mess my life up. Y'all ain't saying that. That's why some of y'all jacked up now, because you keep eating at so many folk table. That's why you sick now. You eat at everybody's house. You go to everybody's church and just eat up that word, and you wonder why you come back here and your stomach hurt. You wonder why you walking crazy, looking crazy, and can't sleep at night. You've been eating too. My mama told me you don't eat at everybody's house. You don't eat at everybody's house. You don't go to everybody's house. That's my friends. I'm going to get. No, we're going to be friends after church. But I don't know what y'all cooking over there. Pastor cooking. I know what mine feeds. So you got these people now who everybody's prophet. Everybody's prophet and prophetess. Don't even know the books of the Bible, but everybody calling lines now. And I'm going to give you a prophecy based on how much money you put in the line. No, I've been there. $100 line. You got $100, come up here. And I'm going to shake your hand and I'm going to give you a word. Then you got parking lot prophets. Kind of sit up in here and don't say nothing. But as soon as you get out of church, they want, I got a word for you. Can I give you a word? No, you can't give me no one. Every time listen, I'll be all right if you just had one word. But every time I see you, you got a word. God ain't talking that much. God ain't no shadow box. God ain't gonna say nothing until he needs to say something. Matter of fact, there were 400 years, he didn't say a thing. So how to go 400 years and ain't say nothing? But every Sunday I see you, you got a word for me. So now you gotta have a spirit of boldness where you just don't go along. If that book is telling you something ain't right, don't sit up there. Yeah. Y'all ain't gonna say that. Y'all in a tight house today. But you got your hand up in that line. You know that man ain't nowhere close to your house. No, you got to tell him, you got me mixed up. You might have meant well, but that ain't me. I ain't even got no son. What you talking about? I ain't even got no husband. What you? Oh, he must have been talking about in the future. No, he ain't talking about. And let me tell you how you can gain. Let me tell you, it ain't no secret how you know whether a man is authentic or not. That's how you know how a person is authentic prophesying to you. It's very simple. It's whatever that person said, it comes to pass. This ain't rocket science. And if it don't happen, that means they wasn't real. Y'all ain't something. And let me tell you something else. Anytime a person says something to you and they call themselves prophesying, what they prophesy in public is going to be something God already showed you in private. Y'all ain't saying that. So it ain't going to be no revelation. It's just going to be confirmation. As soon as they say it, you will say, God, I was just thinking that. God, I was just talking about that the other day. Have you ever been in church and the preacher said something and it gave you goosebumps because you were just talking about that? Although y'all ain't going to talk to me, that's when you know that's the real deal. Somebody tell them it's going to be confirmation. If it ain't confirmation, it didn't come from God. Because God ain't going to give me nothing in public for you that he didn't give you already in private for yourself. And if it's not going to be confirmation, it's going to be a convicting word. It's going to be something God has already been dealing with you about. And as soon as it comes out of his mouth, it hits you where you need to be. Okay. And so I took the long way because in the text, Larry, there's a real prophet. Not a fly by night. Prophetess Washington, I believe in her. If I didn't believe in her, she wouldn't be up prophesying. Right? So you understand, it ain't all of them. It's just like with anything. You got some real ones and some fake ones. Okay, I talked about that last Sunday. In the text, there's a real deal prophet named Elisha. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, this guy is the man who received a double portion from his pastor. This guy's name Elisha. His pastor was named Elijah. And this guy asked his pastor, his pastor said, what do you want from me before I leave? Because I'm getting ready to leave. I'm going from earth to glory. He said, but what do you want from me? You've been walking with me for a while and I can't leave you like I found you. Anytime somebody comes in your life, their assignment is when they leave, you're better than when they came. And when they leave, if you're no better, then y'all ain't gonna say that person wasn't sent from God. God have mercy, Jesus. The pastor said to Elisha, what do you want from me? He says, I want a double portion of what you have. And Elijah said, look, you asked me for a hard thing, but if you see me when I'm taken up. Oh God, can I give you that revelation? He didn't mean when you see me. He said if you can see me. In other words, if me and you are eye to eye when I leave, if you ain't got too fast and ran off and left me. He said, but if you can see, y'all ain't gonna feel me. He said, if you can see me when I leave. In other words, if me and you are still on the same team, if you hadn't got too big and started your own ministry, y'all ain't gonna talk now. If you hadn't took 5 or 6 of my members and went down the street and started your own church, he said, if you see me, then you'll get it. That's another sermon. He said, if you see me, let's stay right here. Don't look over there. Tell you. All right, so Elijah sees it when he got ready to leave. Consequently, he got a double portion. He said, here's what I want, Pastor. He said, I saw God use you when you were sitting down. He said, what I want is God to use me when I'm sitting down and when I'm getting up. He said, I saw God use you when you were coming. He said, but what I want God to do is use me when I'm coming and when I'm going. He said, I want a double portion. I dare you to just lift your hands and say, God, give me a double portion. Oh, God, help me, Jesus. God, I don't just want nothing this season. I want double of what you planned on. And can I tell you, you're in good time because this is a double month. 2 plus 2, this is the 4th month. And God told me to tell you, if you can believe it, I'm going to give you double for your trouble. I need somebody that's been through some hell and high water that you need some double in your life. I don't want no regular miracle. I don't want no regular blessing. But I want a supersized blessing. Supersized. Touch your neighbor, tell supersize that thing. I don't want no red. When I went to McDonald's, they said, do you want to make that a large? In other words, do you want it to be bigger than it was supposed to be? Can I tell 7 or 8 of y'all, this is the season that God's going to make it bigger for you? Can I get a witness in here? Touch your neighbor, just say bigger, 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 bigger. Okay, watch it. He said, Pastor, I don't mind bigger than what you had. Right? So he does it. He gets this double portion. Now Elisha is walking in power. He's prophesying just like his old man. He comes to town called Shunem. Watch this, I'm coming around the mountain. There was a woman in Shunem. The Bible says she's a great woman. According to verse 8 in the text, she's a noble woman. That word great not only means noble, but if you run the etymological research on the word, you understand that word great don't mean noble, it means loud. Right. So this ain't no shy woman. Big man. This ain't no quiet woman. This woman got a big mouth. Y'all ain't helping me today. Y'all, I'm waiting on my church. This woman is loud. This woman says whatever's on her mind. And the Bible says she's loud and she's got an old husband. Oh, God, look at that combination. An old man and a loud woman. Your old man voice don't get too loud, but he got a loud woman. Oh, God. Some of you brothers better help me now. But this loud woman, notice this loud woman, she loud, but she ain't bad. Because the text says she notices that there's a prophet walking through the city. And she didn't know him, but verse 9 says that she perceived that this is a man of God. Now, can I just pause you and tell you, Bruno, listen, if you really got what you say you got, folk gonna know you wherever you are. Y'all ain't saying you ain't got to wear no suit, you ain't got to wear no ties, you can wear t-shirts and you can wear sweats and J's. Somebody gonna see you and say that's an anointed person of God. You ain't got to have no front row seat. You ain't got to have no big cross around your neck. You ain't got to be always talking about I'm blessed and highly favored. If you got it, folk gonna know you got it. Let me just give you some free. If you gotta say you got it, it's a good chance you ain't got it. If you got to talk about how much money you got, you ain't got no money. You ever saw folks that talk all the time about what they got and what they can do, and you finally go to their house, I know this ain't you. All that junk you been, I know this ain't what you live. Because folks who got it ain't got to talk about it. Elijah doesn't go through town telling them I'm a prophet. But they see him walking. She said, honey, that's a holy man. I don't even know his name. That's a holy man. Let me ask you a question. When was the last time somebody looked at you? Come on, man. When was the last time you didn't have to tell them what church you went to? But they just can tell you must go to church. Something about you. You don't act like the rest of us. When we have break in the snack room, just something about you. You don't. She says, honey, that's a holy man of God. Watch this. Now, and watch this. She said, because I see him coming and going. He said, it's a long trip, Sheila. She said, I know that man tired. He's preaching and he's running these revivals and he's prophesying and he's working miracles. So I know he's tired when he gets finished. So I don't want the man to have to go way back home. So let's just build a room onto our house. So he got the money. Let's just put the man a suite on the roof of our house. Come on. And because she's loud, Her husband done it yet. He said, you know, he's a yes, my love. You understand? Yeah. And she said, it looked like it would have been him to say, let's hook the preacher up. No, but she said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to spend our money on him a room. She said, okay. She said, I don't want just this be no any kind of put together junk. Said, let's get a man a good spot to rest. She said, so I want a bed in that room. She said, I want something for him to sleep on. Not only do I want a bed in the room, she said, I want a table in the room. She said, because I want to feed him, so I want something till he can eat on. Can I tell you, you ought to feed the one that feeds you? Some of y'all greedy. You just eat, and don't give nothing back. Y'all ain't said it. All ain't said, but reciprocity says what goes. It's a two-way street, ladies and gentlemen. Anything goes out, something ought to come back in. She said, so he been feeding us. She said, let's feed him. She said, not only do I want a bed in that room and a table in that room, Larry, she says, I want a stool in that room. Now, when you look at that word in the Greek, stool, it means kisser. That word kisser means a throne. In other words, she said, I don't want him just sitting in nothing. She said, I want him to be in something he can relax in. In other words, it was the lazy boy of that time. She said, not only that, but I want a candlestick in this room. Now, when you look at that word in the Hebrew, candlestick, Tanya, it means the word menorah. And that word means just one candle on a candlestick, but that word menorah, it means chandelier. In other words, she said, I want to deck this thing out for him. He said, I don't want no cheap stuff in this room. She said, because this is a man of God. He said, put a chandelier in that room. She said, so whenever he comes to town, he'll have somewhere he can lay his head. Now, when Elijah comes, gotta push this thing on now. Hurry up, Jones. Elijah comes to that room and he looks around and sees how lavishly and how elegant and how luscious that room is. He said to that woman, yeah, what you want from me? Wait. He said, woman, don't nobody do nothing like this for somebody unless they're looking for something in return. He said, so what you want from me? Can I tell you, I think it's wise to find out what folk want from you before you take what they got for you. Y'all ain't feeling me. Because what they want, you might not be able to give. Y'all quiet on your boy. But Elijah knows the game. So he said, what do you want from me? He said, do you want me to talk to the king on your behalf? He said, I got hookups in high places. He said, do you want me to talk to the king of the army for your behalf? And listen what this woman read. This woman said, I dwell among my own people. Come on. In other words, she's standing in the doorway. She said, I'm straight. I don't need nothing from you. See, that's your problem. Come on. Look what she tell me. She said, she loud. She said, that's your problem. Come on. You think everybody wants something from you. Come on. I don't want nothing from you, man. I'm straight. Look, me and my man built this room for you and didn't even get a loan. What can you do for me I can't do for myself? So he lays down. His hand is behind his head. He's laying on the bed. And he's thinking. He looks at his armor bearer, Gehazi. He said, gee. I wonder what that woman wants. Because I'm laying here. I can't figure this out. Why she going her way? She don't even know me. All right now. Ray, what she want? Ray. And she said, look, Pastor, I noticed. We've been here for a few days and we ain't seen no kids running around. Come on now. Sad woman ain't got no son. That's a problem because her husband is old. You understand what it meant to have an old man and no children? The man was the protector and the provider. So if your husband died, you need to have a son that could raise up and take care of you when you couldn't take care of yourself. So he said, man, listen, if something happened to an old man, said this one gonna be in bad shape because she ain't got no son. I was laying there. He said, oh, okay. Tell her come here. He calls. He said, hey, God said, come here for me. She comes in the room. She's got an apron around because she's cooking dinner. Apron around, and she stands in the doorway. She said, yeah. What's it? He says, I finally figured out what you need. He said, you been talking all that big stuff like you don't need nothing. He said, I figured out what you need. So I tell you what, you need a son. He said, by this time next year, God's gonna give you what you need. He said, y'all ain't feeling me, but I'm preaching. He said, by this time next year, God's gonna give you a son. I said, he prophesied to her, and he said, by this time next year, you're gonna have what you don't have right now. And listen what she says. No, sir. Listen what she said. I'm in the text. I think that's what verse 16? She said, no, sir. Tricks are for kids. She said, don't play with me. She said, you can play about anything else, but that's a delicate situation because you know my man is old and you know I ain't had. She said, don't play with me. Tricks for kids. Said, I didn't ask you for that lie. And one thing I can't stand is a lying brother. You ain't feeling what I'm saying. She said, don't play with me. Tricks is for kids. She said, don't lie to me. See, her problem was she didn't know how to receive prophecy. I'm pushing now. She received prophecy with her mind. And in your mind, she knows that her husband is old and that could never happen again. She knows her husband is way past child making days and that ain't gonna happen. But can I tell you, you never receive prophecy with your mind. You gotta receive it in your spirit. That no matter how bad it looks, that no matter how bad it feels, that no matter how hard it is, you gotta say, I believe God. I need some help in this house. Somebody shout, I believe God. I know it looks hard, but I still believe God. I know it looks impossible, but I still believe God. Now watch this. Somebody shout, I believe God. Now watch this, and I'm finished now. Here's what amazes me, that the Bible made it clear her husband was old. So what used to work, don't work no more. What's it? What used to work ain't working no more. I don't know who I'm preaching to. But what used to work ain't been working no more. Watch this. Watch this. But the man prophesied. And I don't know how it happened. Ladies and gentlemen, that night, something got a hold of that man. There was snow on the roof. There's some fire. You know, they feeling you more. I don't know what happened to that man, but something happened to that man because the very next verse said, but the woman. The very next verse. In other words, they went to work right there. Y'all ain't saying that. The Bible says she conceived a son and had what God told her. In other words, she got what God said she could have. Now I'm done with this, but there's somebody in this room now that God has promised you some stuff and it has not come to pass yet. And because of that, you got frustrated. And because of that, you got confused. And some of y'all are even mad at God because what God told you has not come to pass. Somebody prophesied to you that you were coming out and looked like when they told you that you were coming out, you got deeper involved. And some of y'all today have got angry with God people. And you seen God make a way from other people. And you seen God open doors for some other people. And you got mad because God hadn't opened it for you. But let me close when I remind you that you can't hurry God. No, you just gotta wait. You got to trust him. Why don't y'all get up off me? I said you got to trust him and give him time. No matter how long it takes, he's the God that you can't hurry. He'll be there. You don't have to worry. I want to remind somebody that he may not come when you want him to come, but he's always right on. But he's always right on time. Can I get a witness here? But I want to tell you, until he comes, you got to hold on. Can I get a witness? Can the church say yes? Can the church say yes, Lord? Yeah. I want to tell somebody that you got to hold on. When times get hard, just hold on. When money gets funny, just hold on. When friends get you, just hold on. If you're not too mean, would you do me one favor? All over this room, do me one favor. Shake somebody's hand. Ooh, shake somebody's hand. Shake their hand like you're gonna shake it off. Shake their hand like you're full of the Holy Ghost. Shake their hand like you've been delivered. And say, neighbor, hold on until your change come your way. No, that was the wrong neighbor. Because that neighbor, they didn't shout. I wouldn't talk to that neighbor no more this service. Find you somebody that's going to encourage you. Find you somebody that's going to speak life to you. Find you somebody, can I get a witness, that's going to speak a word to you and say, neighbor, hold on until your change comes. But say, neighbor, don't wait till the valley's over, but shout right now. Shout, 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 shout. How many know it's on the way? How many know it's on the way? I can't see it right now. Come on, Jesus. Come on, Jesus. Here I am. Come on, Jesus. Tricks are for kids. But can I tell you something? If God told you he was going to do something, he's able. He's strong enough. He's big enough. He's wise enough to do whatever he said. I said he's strong enough. How many know you got a strong God? I said he's strong enough. Every now and then I want God to flex himself. Because I got enemies waiting on me to go down. God, flex yourself. Show me what you're working with. She said, right on time. She says, okay, tricks are for kids.